Toronto in the second game in as many nights. Would you chalk to this one up? And as far as tired, or how do you see this one?
No, I don't think you can say we're tired. I think our best period was the third period, right? So I think execution, crispness, on a back-to-back you want to be sharp, and our line gives up a goal, less than 2 minutes left in the first period, right? So you feel like on the road you can get through the first period 0-0, you're putting yourself in a good position, right? So it was unfortunate. And then I think on that penalty kill too, where makes a great pass. If I can hit the open net, it's a 1-1 game. They go back down the other way, score, make it 2-0 right away. So I just think through especially the first two periods, just the details, we weren't as sharp as we need to be to win games. So it's a much needed 3-day break. I think rest mentally and reset and come back, and I really look forward to that second half push.
Talk about the penalty kill after the Boston game. Who was lamenting penalties? Is it lack of discipline? Is it frustration out there? How do you account for another night giving them 4 trips?
Yeah, you know what? I think for the most part this year we've been really disciplined, and it's boded well. You have to kill 1 or 2 or penalties. Your guys are generally fresh. You're able to be a little quicker to the spots. I think last night's sometimes calls don't go your way necessarily, and sometimes there's things where you can't avoid. Good teams make good plays, and sometimes you have to take a penalty. And tonight, same kind of thing. We put ourselves in some positions just with puck management and things like that, and that happens. It's our job as killers to go out there and kill it. And I know the one's not a power play goal, but it's right at the end of it. So it would have been nice to get the kill for all 4 of those guys.
With Cole out, you got forced to juggle pretty much every lineup there. But with going on the penalty kill as much as you did, if that kind of throws a wrench in trying to find chemistry or rhythm within a game, what are the challenges beyond obviously being a man down?
Yeah, I think at this point, we've all played with pretty much everyone that you're comfortable going out there. Whether you've played a couple shifts with them or you've played many games with them. I think it's more the rhythm. There's a couple, if you're caught on an extended one, where now it takes a few minutes to catch your breath again, and maybe it takes the flow out of your 5-on-5 play, if limits your forechecking, things like that. So I think that would be the one drawback of when you kill the penalties in succession like we did.
You almost feel like, with Cole Perfetti out, do you almost feel like it's a cruel joke at this point? And how much, I know it's only a few day break, but how much is that needed for not just the group but the injured guys as well?
Well, it's nice, anytime you have extra days where those guys have a few extra days to play, you're not missing any games, but we can look down at the other bench where they're missing Backstrom, they're missing Wilson, Oshie, Farabee, they lose Carlson in the third, right? So and they find a way to kind of go on the streak they have been, right? So that's kind of what we're going to have to do is find a way to get results even though you're missing some of your better players. It's no one feels sorry for you in this league, right? It's it's about making the most of your situation, and all year we've had guys step up when other guys have gone out of the lineup, and this time it's going to be no different.
You don't want to see it, but our guys were part of history tonight with Ovechkin scoring 2 goals. Any thoughts on his making history?
Yeah, obviously you don't want it to be against your team, but he's kind of the generational goal scorer. Of my age, I remember growing up, it was him versus Crosby, and how special it was to watch them play. And when my dad was coaching in Calgary, and I got the opportunity. He was friends with Chris Clark. I got to meet him when I was, I think I was in grade 7 or 8, and that was pretty special. And to see him, break the record, get 801, 802. It's obviously it sucks losing, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's done so much to grow the game, and he's the generational goal scorer of our time right now. So it's pretty cool to see as well.
What do you feel important to shake his hand afterwards?
Well, I think it's just a sign of respect, right? He's done so much for this league. He's done, he's been a great ambassador. He's kind of bridged the gap, as an international player, and he's great personality, and it's just a sign of respect. To really let him know we appreciate all he's done for the league, all he's done for as his players, and the milestone that it's an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you very much.
Wondering where you felt this one went awry, maybe.
Gave up more goals than we scored. Really, I don't know what else to tell you. Obviously a couple breakdowns. They capitalized. Their goalie made some big saves. It's 2-0 game in the third, and if we make it 2-1 on a couple of good chances, then the game probably looks a little bit different. And then they get a little more space at 3-0, and we battled back hard. Nice goal from Stens in that line, but a little bit too late. But their goalie played well and made some big saves.
Talk after the Boston game was the penalties you gave up and the power plays you gave up to the Bruins. Was tonight a lack of discipline, or is that just the style in which the game went? How did you see that?
Every individual play on the ice is different, but at the end of the day, we just got to clean it up. Can't be, putting lethal power plays with players like Boston and Washington have on the ice. So, but every play is individual.
You mentioned the lack of goals. I'm not this is the league to feel sorry about, but David Riddick hasn't got a ton of run support when he's been. He's played well. Just maybe talk about not finding the back of the net as well.
I thought he's played great. I'd like to give him more support and put more in, so he doesn't have to make as many big saves, and we can make it easier on him.
When you found out the news about Cole Perfetti, did it feel like a cruel joke at this point, just how many guys are sidelined on this team?
Yeah, there's no excuses, though. At the end of the day, every team goes through injuries. Look at their injury list right now. They're missing a lot of key players, so, it's not ideal, and but it is what it is. It's not a new thing for us this year. We've kind of been dealing with it for a while now, so you just keep going, no excuses, and now we need this break to rest up, get healthy and some energy, and the fact that we just went to Pacific, West Coast, East Coast with a stop at home in between. It's a tough week, 5 and 7, and the execution might not have been there the last couple of games, but I think our work ethic and compete was there, and even back to your last question about penalties, sometimes that happens when you're a little bit fatigued, so it's not an excuse, but I thought the battle level was there, and we have a lot to be proud of going into this break and ready to build off it after Christmas.
I know you don't want to be part of that history, but it was history nonetheless. Just you guys obviously took the time after the game to shake Ovechkin's hand. Kind of thoughts on what he's been able to do over his career?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. You could use every word possible to describe the career he's had. It's crazy when I look back at being a kid growing up watching Sid and Ovi come into the league, and I've been in the league 7 years, and I know how hard it is to score goals. So when you see a guy put up numbers like that, and just the magnitude. He passed Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe is a legend of the game, and sort of almost on potentially the Mount Rushmore of hockey, and Ovi just passed him. So it's not great when it's a minus against, obviously, but I think all players appreciate what he's meant to the game. How the game has grown, I think, from his presence, his personality, his obviously ability on the ice. So it's a moment that you're not happy about, but at the same time you got to appreciate and show him the respect that he deserves, and it's pretty remarkable what he's done, to say the least. That's a huge understatement. So it was the right thing to do.
Thank you. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
That's accurate. A slow start. Took some penalties in the second period, but when we got going, even in the second, we had some good looks. The kid in the net made a lot of big saves for them at the right time. That's a tough one. You give up that first goal. But we listen. There's no quitting these guys. They found a way to dig down deep in the third period, and so they kept working. And there's no quit in this group. They work hard, and it doesn't always go our way. Even though we fell down 3-0, we kept working and we kept going. We had some good shorthanded chance. I mean, there's Anyways, at least they know they're in every game. They know they just have to keep working and give their goalie credit. He made timely saves.
You're lamenting the penalties against the Bruins. Was it different tonight? Was it still a lack of discipline? What did you feel tonight's penalties versus?
You don't want to take penalties, but you know what happens. It's you get a little fatigued and you take penalties.
Speaking of fatigue, a bit of a really tough week for you with changing the time zones back home from one
Yeah,
game.
that's 5 and 7, right? So
Was the break coming a good time?
we need the break. We haven't had a 2-day break in a long time, so to have 3 days off, this group needs it. There's absolutely no question, physically and mentally, they need a break. But again, you fall behind 3-0. They could have just kind of coasted through the end. They didn't, and they kept fighting. And I love the fight in this group. And we'll be back at it Tuesday night at home, and we'll get back on track.
We've talked a lot about the depth on this team because of the injuries you've had. Does it feel like a cruel joke now after Cole Perfetti didn't play tonight?
Listen, it's just, I know you can take this next man up so far, but again, the guys believe in themselves and they work. And David made some big saves at the right time. You just keep it. Listen, it's a long season, and you have some stretches like this where the schedule works against you, and so you fight through it. And our guys fought through it.
I know it's not a game to feel sorry for anybody, but when David's in, I know it's a tough situation for him to go into games because it's always the second of back-to-backs. I don't know what his sleep patterns are like on those flights or whatever, but the run support from the team hasn't really been there when he's been in there.
No. Tonight, again, the chance, some of the really good chances we didn't score on. And I also thought in the first we were passing up too many opportunities. When we had good looks at the goalie, we were looking for that extra play. And that comes into play later in the game. When you need some goals, you got to put pucks on the net. And if we're looking for that extra play, and they were breaking them up. So there was more opportunities to create more offense that we didn't take advantage of.
You've seen a lot of hockey. You've been in this league for a long time. No, it's not history you want to necessarily be a part of, but history nonetheless. What can you say about it?
You know he's going to score goals. So, listen, I remember I was in Phoenix when he had that memorable goal when he fell down and took him back. And the defenseman, Paul Mara, came back to the bench, and I said, Paul, you just played that one-on-one absolutely perfect. You separated the man from the puck, you knocked him down, and he still found a way to score. So give him credit. So I was on the bench in Phoenix, so that one, and that stays with you. But that shows his perseverance and his character, his work ethic. It's just, listen, it's good for him. You know what? Really, congratulations to him. He deserves that.
Obviously, it wasn't pre-planned. I'm wondering how it became for everyone to go out there and shake his hand at center.
Oh, that was the guys who knew that was the right thing to do. Thanks.
Thanks, Rick.